What's going on, my friends? It's been a moment. It is royalty statement day. Sorry about my hair. It's crazy. I've let my hair go. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. It is royalty statement day, and I hope you guys' statements are great, man. I really do. I'll tell you what, it's so cool seeing a lot of this stuff. It really is. Is a show called Central Park on the CW network or one of these. I don't know what it is. It's played a ton of my music. America's Book of Secrets. That was on my last statement. I've got another promo ad here. This from CBS. It's somewhere in. I don't know what it would be on CBS, but it was a promo announcement. Usually pays pretty good. They're starting to pay. And then, if some of you have been doing this as long as I have, you see the short durations of the last few quarters. Short durations have been coming up. And then what those are is your music played on little short durations in commercial radio, rolling to commercial or sporting events or anything like that. So it's that's really starting. That you'd think that would have been paid a long time ago, but some of this stuff are really starting to come around. They're really getting this stuff to make sure that composers are paid for this stuff. It really is. So, but I've had another growing up hip hop. Actually, a couple more placements there with that, with a brief that I wrote to last year. There's a lot of stuff here, but it really is. You've got a lot of international stuff that's pretty cool. It's good to hear a lot of these tracks that are played internationally with things you just don't know what. I mean, it comes from like this. You'll see a performance is audio, and they'll say PRS, which is the PRO over in the United Kingdom, and there are tracks that are used, but you don't know where they're being used, and usually sometimes your next statement you'll see the actual placement. So I'm starting to see that pattern, and I don't know exactly how that goes. I've been doing this for years. There's a lot of things I don't really understand about these royalty statements and reading them. It's crazy, but it's cool to see a lot of the stuff. It really is. I've been busy trying to get as much music as I can done. I know I talked a while back ago about my goal of what I wanted to do for the year and tracks. Even if it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. That's what I was going to kind of touch on a little bit too, is that set your goals musically, but doesn't matter if you don't accomplish them. If you even did the same as you did last year or did better, you still accomplished a goal. You did better than the year prior. So life happens sometimes, you just don't know. But you want to try to really get as much music as you can out there to the publishers that are getting your music placed. And everyone has a mixed opinion about that, and just be very careful and very, just be focus on quality, whatever you do. You may not be at a point yet where you can do 150, 200 tracks a year, and that's okay. You'll get there. There's a muscle memory involved in this, and there's getting to know, having the right tools and getting to know your DAW and what you want to do. You want quantity, but always make sure you have quality, and make sure that you don't rack your brain and overthink it and drive yourself into taking a great track and just running it into the ground, because production music is not something where you're writing some opus or you're doing anything for the Billboard charts. You just want to make sure that there's a main theme going across that really works, that sets the tone, and that you're adding things and creating sections for the editor, and you want to make sure that music is sequenced and composed in such a way where they're using it for TV. It's a different beast. Production music is different. It really is. It's fun. It's great. I love composing it. It really is something I truly love. And there's a great opportunity, and it makes great money if you're putting it with the right publishers that have the right clients. It really does. But just make sure that you concentrate on those things, because I may not stress enough on that, and I really have to kind of take a moment to say, just keep that in mind no matter what you do, you know. Some of you do genres of music that only warrant, as I've mentioned before, so many tracks a year, and it's okay. You don't want to just throw stuff out there. You don't want to be throwing spaghetti at the wall and hope that it sticks. Don't do that. You know, going, okay, we know when spaghetti is ready, so if we throw it at the wall and it sticks, it's ready to eat, you know. Don't do that. Just make sure that you're following through, you know, and a lot of the things that you want to do, making sure that you're backing everything up and packaging this stuff right, and give these publishers what they ask for. Don't go, oh, that's too much work, or some of these places where you have to enter metadata. Do it. It's a part of this. I guarantee you it'll pay off. It's a part of this. Just spend the time doing it. You're going to have some things that you don't want to do over composing, but it's a part of it. I've been doing it long enough where I don't mind it. It's okay. I don't mind it at all. I love it. But I do hope that y'all's royalty statements, y'all's, you can tell I'm from the South. I do hope that you guys are doing well, and that if you're in this like me, or even starting out, that you're getting at least a statement and a starting point somewhere. Because I'll tell you, my first royalty statement was $10.35, I think. But it was a great feeling when I got it. Oh man, was it. And it'll get better if you stay on it, I promise you. It will get better. But NASCAR season's coming up again. There'll be more placements here real soon. Usually starts with that Daytona 500. But there was a lot of those on here. I have an editor that has a couple of my tracks in an editor's pile. And I'm going to tell you, that's one thing that feels so good, is to watch that. It's almost like a cash register, is that all these placements, and they're just popping in. Every time there's a NASCAR race, I've got that, as they call that unicorn, that one unicorn track. And there may come a day where it stops because editors change jobs, or there's a new editor that comes in, and they may use their own tracks, but they may discover some of my other tracks. You never know. You just don't know. I mean, with production music, you have no clue. There's no way of knowing how this stuff's going to get used, you know? It really isn't. So, another thing I want to touch on real quick before I jump off is that I've gotten some comments on the video I did about Epidemic Sound. And guys, I want you to think long and hard before you go with that company. They're horrible. They really are. The fact that they're going to force a composer to leave their PRO is not cool. And what I want you to think about, and there was a comment about somebody said, well, I'll leave my PRO and do that for $500 or $1,000 a track in a heartbeat. But there's some things you need to think about, you know, and everybody's different. If that's something for you and you want to try it and it works for you, go for it. It's okay. Go for it, you know. But if you've got a lot of tracks out there in a PRO and you've got them with exclusive publishers, whatever you do, don't do that. Don't close your PRO account. You have no idea what's lurking behind door number 2. I told you a long time ago, I took one track out of a publisher, and 2 weeks before I got my royalty statement, and it was placed in The Voice, and it was a very good placement. Just don't do that. Don't take it out of those exclusive publishers and close your PRO account, because you're going to have to start all over again. And I'll tell you this, and this is a fact, I guarantee you this. If you take your music out of exclusive publishers, they're not going to take that music back. Because once it leaves them, they don't know where it's been. It's a liability. You know, what you're doing may be fine, but they're not going to take it back. And I don't know about Epidemic Sound. It may be in perpetuity. You're not getting those tracks back out of there once you put them in there. And there's not a guarantee they're going to take every one of your tracks either. You may think, oh, well, they'll take everything I write for them. Don't always bank on that. If they're paying that much money per track, they're very picky. That's a lot of money to pay out for that. But also know with Epidemic Sound, what you don't know is that you're not going to see any more money from the track. It's gone. Basically, it's a buyout. They want to say they split some of the mechanical royalties, but as I said in that last video, don't think that Epidemic, along with all the billions of dollars they're making on all these YouTube creators, that they're not making money on the back end somewhere with that stuff. If they were an American company, they wouldn't have been allowed to do that. Oh, they would have gotten in a whole lot of trouble for that. So just think about that. Listen, if you want to do it and it works for you, knock yourself out. I hope it works well for you. It's okay. I'm not gonna. I'm not arguing with you on that. I don't want to do that. Everybody's different. There are composers that want to do that and work well with it. But I'm just telling you, your future's at stake here for taking your music out of a PRO. If you're getting placements currently and you've got music out there, because you don't know what your music is going to do. You have no idea. There's always something lurking. You got to think about that. You don't know whose hands your music. What you have to realize is that you upload it to these libraries and they send that music to these clients. A lot of times what you don't know is that these networks, these production companies, these editors, the production companies are basically downloading the music. They're cataloging it and clearing it and then handing it over to the editor's pile. Your music is probably already sitting in the system of these networks and these production companies. And one day they're just spinning through and they're going to use your track. They've already pulled it off the publisher. In other words, you're not going to have to go back and look for your music. If the publisher sent them there, or if they downloaded it, chances are, a lot of times it's already there. They may have downloaded it and haven't used it yet. You just don't know. Would have no idea at all that I've had an editor that's using one of my tracks as their go-to for NASCAR races and a bunch of Fox Sports stuff. So be thinking about those things. Seriously. Don't let somebody bully you off of leaving a performance rights organization, because they're going to go to bat for you a lot. These performance rights organizations and the industry is going to go to bat for you a lot more than Epidemic Sound ever will. Epidemic Sound is just it's just corporate greed tech company that is exploiting artists and taking their music for their own benefit, to give it away for these content creators for a little subscription to make billions of dollars off of you. They don't care. That $500 or $1,000 is nothing for them. And you'll never see another dime from that track again. I'm just telling you, you won't. Because they made you leave your PRO. There's a reason why. They don't want you making any more money off of it. So anyway, I hope you guys are well again, and I appreciate you for watching. And we're going to see you on the next video. I've got a lot I want to get on and talk about. And until then, we'll see you then. Be cool. Bye.